know what? We're here. We are with the. You know, I know I'm never supposed to just start the interview this way, but we are so lucky.
But he never listens. So
Yeah, I never listen. I just do whatever I want to do. It's my show. Right? But we are here with the legendary Margaret Whiting, which I wanted everyone to know that because this is so exciting for us.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here with you all because whether they know it or not, it's a studio filled with talented people who are making this a very wonderful show.
Well,
and I'm very proud to be here.
We're honored to have
well, how long have you been singing, Margaret? When did you start singing?
When I was 4. You really want the truth?
Yeah, I do want the truth.
Well, that would make me 76.
Okay.
Now I'm 80.
Okay.
And no, I was 4 at the time when my father, Richard Whiting, a very lovely and charming man and a great songwriter, came home every day in Detroit, where I was born, and he said, "I've written something wonderful," and he'd play it for me. And I hardly knew what he was doing, but it sounded pretty. And then as I got a little older, 5, 6, he'd say, "I want you to hear something." And he said, "I think this is the greatest song, My Funny Valentine." He didn't talk about Dick Rogers. He talked about Larry Hart. He said, "This is the greatest lyric." So when I became a singer, I decided, because of my father, who taught me how to do it, I would sing it always in my act. Later on, I sang a lot of songs that he taught me, like Someone to Watch Over Me with the Gershwins. Wonderful thing about my father, he knew all these people, songwriters, so well, and they were so close. They were like a team of great people who would come to each other's house and play the music they had just written for the boys.
The Gershwins?
That's amazing.
Gershwins, the Kerns.
Wow.
Oh, I had more people at my house, or my father and mother's house, in California. Great songwriters come, and I would hear a song that became immortal by the man who wrote it.
Wow.
So I had a kind of special background.
Well, did your father write Good Ship Lollipop for you?
In a way.
Did he?
He was very worried about writing for a little girl. And Sidney Clare wrote the lyric, and they would talk on the phone. "I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, how am I going to write for this little girl that's the biggest star in pictures? She's the biggest star in the world." Daddy had a great sense of humor. And he would sit around our Steinway and worry. And one day, I came in from school, and as fate would have it, I was sucking a large lollipop.
Do you hear my stomach growling?
I do.
I'm starving to death. Is everybody
No,
else
he
hearing my
wants a
stomach
lollipop.
growling?
You want the
It was a
lollipop or a sandwich?
No, he wants a lollipop.
Anyway, he said, "Margaret, put that lollipop down. You're leaning over me, and I'm getting so sticky, and you're going to get it all over the piano. And wait a minute, lollipop. Lollipop." Sidney, he got him on the phone, and he said, "The kid just came in with a giant lollipop and got it all over me and the piano, but what about she's in an airplane and she's flying on the good ship Lollipop?" And that's the way it started.
Wow.
Yeah. I can
So
leave
cool.
now.
Well, we're going to sing for you.
Well, I hope so.
We are.
I mean, I didn't come here for nothing. entertain me.
Well, you know something? I actually grabbed. You know, Dell and I, even though we are both opera singers, we both come from a very different background because we both come from pop singing, and he comes from rock and roll. So I said, Dell, I said I got to teach you a couple songs now. So I taught him this song yesterday.
Yes, I was a good pupil.
Yes, he was a very good pupil yesterday, and I said, well, let's be ready to sing this for Margaret tomorrow.
What song is this?
We're gonna sing "Might As Well Be Spring."
Cool.
Oh, really?
The things I used to like, I don't like anymore. I want a lot of other things I've never had before. It's just like Mother says. I sit around and mope, pretending I am wonderful, but knowing I'm a dope.
I'm as restless as a willow in a windstorm. I'm as jumpy as a puppet on a string. I'd say that I had spring fever, but I know it isn't spring.
I am starry-eyed and vaguely discontented, like a nightingale without a song to sing. Oh, why should I have spring fever when it isn't even spring?
I keep wishing I were somewhere else, walking down a strange new street,
Hearing words that I have never heard from the girl I've yet to meet.
You mean the guy? I'm as busy as a spider spinning daydreams. I'm as giddy as a baby on a swing.
I haven't seen a crocus or a rosebud or a robin on the wing.
But I feel so gay in a straight guy kind of way that it might as well be spring.
It might as well be spring.
Well, that's beautiful. I got to tell you this story because it's really funny. I had worked at Capitol for 2 or 3 years and had Moonlight in Vermont.
Were you the first one to sing that song?
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite songs.
Well, I love it too.
And I
I'd
always
never
thought
been
you were.
there.
I thought it was
You've
always
still
your.
never been there?
No, yes.
Oh, okay.
That's
Host.
another
All right.
story.
But you created that song.
I did.
That's the. You know, your voice on that song is that song. That's the way I've always known it.
Well, thank you.
That's just.
That
beautiful.
was due to Johnny. For a long time, he kept saying, "You're going to be the first singer that's on my label." And one day, I went down to the studio to see him, and I passed by the control room, and I heard another girl singing, Joe Stafford.
Yeah. Well.
Well, I went home and cried. Then he said, "Oh, don't worry. You know, I'm looking for the song for you, Margaret." Then I went down a couple weeks later. I heard a wild girl singing. He was doing it again. Ella Mae Morse with Cow Cow Boogie. I
Oh.
mean, these were the beginnings of Capitol Records, but he kept saying I was going to be the first one. Now he did it again. Kept saying, "Don't you worry, you may not be the first, but you're going to be the best." I went down there again to see if he'd found anything for me, and he had found something, Peggy Lee. Oh, she was manyaning over the control room. I went to Palm Springs. I was crying, so I went for A&R. And I hate to drop, I don't like to drop names of people, but
We want you to.
all right, Frank Sinatra. He and I would go to Palm Springs every week together in Jimmy Van Heusen's airplane, the songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
We were buddies, the three of us. Frank had his house, Jimmy had his house, and I was his guest, Jimmy Van Heusen. And Frank said to me, "You know, Maggie, I've got a surprise for you. I'm going to be signed at Capitol Records." He'd been at Columbia and had a great career. I said, "Really? How wonderful. Marvelous." And I thought about it the whole weekend. So I came home, and I was really, they did make me feel good, those two guys, singing and playing and hearing new songs. But I got home, and there was a message from Johnny Mercer, like fate. I picked up the phone. He said, "Listen, kid, come on down. I found the song for you." I went like I was shot out of a cannon. And I got there, and I can still see him standing way in the distance in the corridor in front of his office. And he said, "Here it is." And I looked at the song, and I said, "It's my ideal. It's my father's song." He said, "Yes." I said, "But Maurice Chevalier's done it, and Frank Sinatra's done it." And he said, "And you're going to do it." That's my favorite song. And I heard you sing it the first time I heard you sing, when you sang it when you were a real little girl. And that's what I want you to sing. And I did. And it was a hit. So he was happy. Johnny and Harold Arlen came over and said, "We have somebody that made a record of a song that we've done in a Paramount picture, for a Paramount picture, but we don't like how it goes." And they sang, and Harold played. Johnny and Harold sang Black Magic. "Do you think you could sing it?" I said, "You bet." So I had a big record on that. And now comes the time that it's not going to be Freddie Slack with Margaret Whiting. It's going to be Margaret Whiting and a big orchestra, 42 men.
Wow.
Could you handle them all?
I hit a couple. I didn't mean to, but I sang a song that Judy Garland was introducing in a picture, in which the Atchison's Beacon, the Santa Fe, won the award. And it called My Intuition, and it was the most beautiful song, and I wanted to do it for Harry Warren, who wrote it, and Johnny Mercer. And I sang my heart out. He took it out of the picture. Judy had an attack. She couldn't believe they took that song out. I couldn't believe that they threw my record away. They said, but Johnny said, "I'll call Richard Rodgers and see if he's got anything else for you." So he said, "I've got one song." I gave the hit song of our picture to Joe Stafford for you. Now, you want another girl singer to sing another one of our songs? She's got to sing it like a schottisch. And Johnny said, "Margaret, do you know what a schottisch is?" I said, "It's a kind of a dance, jerky but cute." And he showed me the song. And I said, "I don't care what Dick Rodgers says. I adore him. He's a great composer, but I'm singing it the way I want to sing it." And it was Might As Well Be Spring.
Oh.
And Dick Rogers called him Johnny Mercer and said, "How could you let her do it that way?" He heard the record, but it hadn't come out and sold the millions it had sold. So 2 weeks later, he calls up Johnny and he said, "You know, that Whiting girl sings pretty well. I think I'll send her flowers." Isn't that funny? Well, how could you sing that as a schottish?
I don't know.
I don't know how.
Do you know what a schottish is?
I do actually.
I'm as restless as the willow.
Right, a kind of poundy.
Yeah,
kinda,
yeah. Forget the schottish.
Well, we have another one we want to sing for you too.
Well,
You mind?
I have not let you sing enough. I've
Well,
been telling stories.
oh,
that's
why we
point.
wanted you to come. We want you to tell us the stories.
Well,
Well,
Now-
we'll sing something for you. And then, how long were you? When did you actually sign at Capitol? How old were you?
13 or 14.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I'm thinking about that. That's right. And I tell you, I've had such a wonderful life because being born in the music, and my aunt, my mother's sister, was what we call, she was a great, like Sophie Tucker, and people like that, and she would sing, "Dapper Dan, you gorgeous man," you know. She was something. And when my father passed away, she came out to Hollywood to live with us. So she taught me about being a performer, what you had to do, and brought a nice young pianist in my life called Skitch Henderson.
Oh, well.
And
The names go on.
through the years, she was going to rehearse with Skitch this day, and you got to meet my niece. She sings beautifully. I think she's going to be a big singer. Let me hear her. He was in his 20s. He was young, and so he played for me, and she never rehearsed that day. But he did play for her for some concerts and played a lot for me, and I went to their wonderful concert they did for Skitch. And I went up to his house. I know his wife very well, and my, what a wonderful man he was, and what he did for music in this country.
Yeah.
There's another story. Why don't I shut up?
All right, well, we'll sing to you, and then you can tell us some more.
Oh, God.
What song are we doing now?
You'll never know.
You'll never know.
Oh, Harry
I'll never
Warren.
know
Yes.
what song we're singing for this one. Okay. So I can butcher this one again.
Darling, I'm so blue without you. I think about you the livelong day. When you ask me if I'm lonely, then I have only this to say.
You'll never know just how much I miss you.
You'll never know just how much I care. And if I tried, I still couldn't hide my love for you.
You ought to know, for haven't I told you so a million or more times?
You went away and my heart went with you.
I speak your name in my
to prove that I love you. I swear I don't know how. You'll never know if you don't know now. Thank you. It's an honor to
Really?
have.
It's an honor to sing for you.
It is an honor to sing for you.
No, you're enchanting the sound.
Well, thank you.
But the idea, I was thinking before I came over here, what is this going to be like? And
Everybody does.
Well, no. It's the best fun and enjoyable thing to do.
Well, thank you.
To meet you both. Well, I met you before. To know you both, to understand your background of music that you love so. That's the way I feel. And I want you to promise that as you go through life, you'll always do things for people. I've started teaching, and we had 11, 12, maybe 13 years up in Connecticut, teaching all kinds of singers. And very exciting when somebody comes along with it. And I've met so many people who come over to play a song for me or to sing for me. And I just sit back and feel like, ooh, they're in the right business, you know, and they're having fun. I can't stand it when people who are in our business act stuffy, you know, act like it's pretentious time. It's fun.
Right.
We're lucky.
We
We're
are.
so
Absolutely.
someone was generous to all of us. And I appreciate hearing you sing the hours you've put into it. It does
Whole
take
lives.
hours. Well, like Johnny said, it's going to take a long time. And that's what you have to say to people. You can't expect anything overnight. And it's so wonderful to watch. When I first met at my singing teacher, who was the teacher, Andre Previn.
That was your singing teacher?
Singer teacher.
No,
Okay.
Lillian Rosedale Goodman had a beautiful house in the high hills of Hollywood. And she knew Charlie Previn, who was at Universal. And he was the uncle to Andre. And Andre came over to get away from the war. And he was just a kid. And he played, you know, you went, oh, what have I heard? Like then when you meet Johnny Williams, who was Andre's favorite, you know, and jazz, and he's turned out to be Sir. It's incredible what happens, but he was just swinging along and played. There were a lot of girls at, around her studio, and they were high-class singers. I was the only down-to-earth or the bottom singer, but we had such fun with Andre. And, of course, they snapped him up right away at MGM because he could read every concerto, symphony, anything ever written by anybody. He was a genius as a kid. But then he went for the jazz. And he was always going, da-da-da-da-da, you know. And it was so wonderful to watch his career, what happened to it. And even Johnny played on some of my records, and the musicians would sit around the piano, stand around the piano and after the session and hear Johnny play. And then when he started scoring movies, oh, my goodness. That was the good, wonderful days of Hollywood.
Well, we've been very lucky to have you here. We feel very honored to have had you come on our show.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you so
I was
much.
delighted, and I'm thrilled to be with you.
Well, thank you. You have to see our live show sometime. You would see how big a clown we really are.
No, I don't have to see. I know.
We enjoy it. You know.
Are you telling me we've done an hour?
We've been talking, yeah. This has been fantastic.
It all started when you walked in from the door.
Oh, my God.
That's when we
Well,
started.
Wow.
It's
Well, thank you very much for coming
when
on.
you were so lucky to have Julie, too.
Oh, gosh, Julie
She's
was
incredible.
wonderful.
Oh,
Absolutely.
she's something.
Yes.
As
I-
are you.
I don't know if you... Have I 1 minute more?
Yes, you sure have.
I told them in the control booth I was doing a concert and I had to go to Europe to sing. I sound like a prima donna. I was prima, but not donna. And who were we going to get to take your place? I said, go to Omaha. And that's where she was having her family grow up and living with her family. And I had seen her, you know, she'd been at the Copa as a lead dancer and singer.
She tried to tell us she doesn't dance. I
Yeah.
said, oh, yeah, Julie.
Well, believe me, she did.
No.
And she came back, thank God. The other night they did a tribute to her, and I said, you people that are here tonight are going to love me for one thing that I've done, even if you don't like me. And I told them the story that I was responsible for getting her back here, and she's never stopped.
No.
And,
No.
you know, we're the two grand ladies, I think, but we have such fun, and it's so wonderful to sit with her sometimes and talk. You should have us back and have us together.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't get on at all.
Be legends on the couch.
No, but she is something else.
Well, thank you so much.
I
Thank you.
have had a marvelous
As
time.
Well,
have
thank
we.
you. We have too.
I've hucked
Thank you.
a Johnny, whatever that means, and it's thoroughly delightful.
I just wish you would have sung for us.
Well, maybe I'll come back
Okay.
and sing.
There we go.
But I left you with Jerome Kern, one of my dear men that I met. And I have an album that I'm very proud of. And I think you'll like it.
You have it with you?
It's in
The bag?
the bag.
Good.
There's
Oh,
a
good.
lot of things
Mike has
in
the
that,
bag. Good.
in that bag.
Good.
Bags are good.
Well, thank you so much. Wow, this has been great. Can we get
Awesome.
pictures?
Of course we can.
Of course not.
I got to get off my box.